So to begin, may I call to the stage Mary Point of YVR, who is going to share with us the story of success with YVR Airport. You can stand or sit. Would you like to stand? Very good. And here's your slide.
Hajka Mark. Asiam Nasiea, Mary Point, Tanitsanafu Musqueam, E Tanitsanafu YVR. Amit Sepquatlilu. Honored visitors, my name is Mary Point, and I'm from Musqueam, and I'm also from YVR. I'm going to share a little bit about our agreement. It's a 30-year agreement, the first of its kind between an airport and a First Nation in the world. And lots of exciting things have happened since we signed our agreement. Today, I'll focus on successes we've had in our path from education to employment, to protection of the land and water, to introducing culture into our corporate policies, to formal engagement, and of course to revenue share. And it'll be one of the last things I talk about. It's usually one of the first things that people tell us about or want to hear about, but it's actually the smallest part of the agreement. Since I accepted my position just over a year and a half ago, this is the first Indigenous Relations Manager for the Airport Authority. There's been a lot of movement on the 18 articles of the agreement, so I'm really excited to share that. But among our successes is opportunities to come and share our story. I know that at YVR and at Musqueam, we're out there sharing information about this agreement on a regular basis. And I thought maybe the best way to introduce it would be to start with a short video clip that we all took part in. There are many names for this area. Some of us call it YVR. Musqueam people call it Katshwamans, our home.
It is about true friendship.
Working together, establishing those relationships, hearing our voice.
This is history. We're actually writing history.
Musqueam's vision has always been to maintain our traditional values and ensure that there's a sustainability for our people to be able to live the lives that they have always lived at the north of the river.
The most important thing, I think, when you're stepping into negotiations with First Nations is the intent.
We wanted the agreement to not just be about one single thing. We were creating a great social setting for both organizations in terms of jobs, education, training. So we looked at the financial and economic benefits of the airport and Musqueam.
There was a dialogue that was respectful, honorable, and included the idea of we had something to bring to the table.
This is a 30-year agreement, which I think will actually be multi-generational. I think it will change the Musqueam people and it will change the airport.
I had my expectations when we signed the agreement, but I think we're 5 years ahead of that already. And the employment and opportunity for our young people was something that made my heart really proud.
This agreement has made a difference in the lives of individuals.
I think you'll see people work for this airport at all levels. You'll have Musqueam that are pilots, air traffic controllers, mechanics.
What makes YVR our really big partner is their willingness to come to the table, take off their preconceived ideas of what an Indigenous community is looking for, and listening to what our goals and aspirations are.
All industries can look at this agreement and show how we can work together, we can successfully move things forward.
As our great leader, Keplana, once told us, you have to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. Here, we've come together as friends.
When you come together with that idea, there's always success.
We walk the path together.
I love that video because it provides voices from both communities, from the nonprofit community of YVR and from the Musqueam community. So I'll just take you through some of the key elements of the agreement. And first and foremost, we have a great dialogue between the two communities, and that is managed through our relationship committee, which is made up of 3 Musqueam councillors and members of our executive team and myself. And we work together on a regular basis, not only on strategic planning and to make sure that we're all kept apprised of any changes or updates with the agreement and its development and its implementation, but also any rising issues or new ideas. So we meet on a regular basis with the relationship committee, and they direct additional movement to other layers with staff, administration, other councillor members, business working group. One of the first things we did in 2018 was to launch the scholarship program. At Musqueam, if you're coming straight from grade 12, you are guaranteed a spot at college if you wish to go. But for the rest of us who want to return to school after a period of work or want to get our master's or PhD, we are on our own. So we launched a scholarship program that helps those people. And the agreement actually says 10 scholarships per year, but we've actually issued 23 scholarships to 15 members over the first 2 years. Some are returning to school, and very proud to say that we do have masters and 3 PhDs and 2 second degrees, as well as people going in for their bachelors. So we're very proud of the progress that we're making. As well, employment, I knew from day one was going to be important to all of our members. There are hundreds of businesses on Sea Island. The agreement says that we'll provide 10 positions with the Airport Authority where I work, but I knew there's a waiting list of people looking for work, so I just started knocking on doors around businesses at the airport, because I've been working in our community for the last 10 years and I got to know a lot of members and started setting up matches. So we have people in line for baggage screening, for border services, for service industry, and we have 91 people at last count that are employed, but 176 in process for applications at the airport. We do have super strong support from our Musqueam Employment and Training, who I describe as superheroes. They help with all the Transport Canada security clearance documentation, with finding ID, setting up bank accounts, developing resumes, all of that type of thing. And if there's any extra training, bus passes, work booths, they're there to help with all of that. As well, we have elders and mentors who have desks in the Airport Authority that are there to support our members. One of the questions I was asked by our elders when I first took the position was, how are we going to make sure that when our people come to the airport, where there's already 26,000 people working, that they don't feel isolated and alone? So by having our elders there to support them, it really helps to give a little comfort. And it also helps so people know if there's going to be a fishing opening, to put that reminder to our employees to put in for a day off with their bosses if they so need to. So those little relationships on the inside have really been an amazing success. One of the other things, though, aside from employment, is business opportunities. So we invited Musqueam business owners to come down to the airport, and we shared with them our whole 25-year plan, as well as projects that are coming up in the current year. And we help the business owners who have to go through just as rigorous a process. They might be new businesses, but they have to have a business license and a work safe and a safety plan and all of that type of stuff, the insurance that they're needed. We help them to be compliant. And we definitely have issued multiple contracts to construction and electrician and site setup. There's a lot of construction projects going on Sea Island at the moment. But it's been really exciting to see them, because they also hire Musqueam band members to come and work with them. So they help to boost our employment numbers. Environment is super important to our community. And one phrase that we came up with early in our discussions, needs to together, we are taking care of the land and the water. In Sea Island, we have 4 former villages, as well as IR3. We vacated those when the airport came to live on, to be situated in our community. But in that earth are our belongings and our people. And as well, we live off the land and the water, the place where the blueberries used to grow, the place where we gathered from the beach, the place where we fished. And so YVR has been very good about coming together with our teams at Musqueam to ensure that we have the right policies in place. Whenever there's a project undergoing, there's a permit issued by Musqueam. Musqueam monitors are on site to make sure that the environment and the archaeology are protected. And since then, YVR has become the first salmon-safe airport in the world. We're very excited to say that. As well, the community has been interested because we've been seeing planes flying overhead since the airport first arrived. So there's a Musqueam community member on the Noise Management Advisory Committee. And also one of our councillors sits on the YVR's Environmental Management Committee. And when we were developing new plans for environment and noise, we collaborated with Musqueam and came to Musqueam community and took that information back. And I just want to add that the technicians at YVR were very surprised at the level of technical knowledge that our community members and elders were able to submit and participate in. Engagement is something that is a very specific, legally described article in the agreement. And what it pertains to, in brief, is that the airport sits on Crown-held land. And so whenever there's going to be a project that might interfere with migratory birds or habitable waters or even rezoning, the airport must ask for a Crown authorization. But that being said, the Crown authorization can't move forward without a future authorization from Musqueam. And so Musqueam's been very involved in the ongoing development planning at the airport and has definitely provided lots of letters of support for the growth and development of the airport. And it also helps Musqueam to understand what's happening. One thing our elders wanted to know was, and be sure of, was that we introduced culture and protocol into airport operations and policies and procedures. And this is much more than just a welcome. Our staff at the airport want to learn more. We've had language classes, we've had weaving classes, we've had singing and drumming together, but we've also had our artists come down and participate in artist demos, and we've invited our artists to sell their wares through the gift shops at the airport. There are 19 duty-free shops at the airport, and the buyer for those 19 shops is actually the buyer for North America duty-free. And as well, there are small little independent shops at the airport. So this is one way of inviting our artists to participate without asking them to make a proposal for a major installation. And so far we have 14 artists selling their wares in the shops at the airport. So very proud to say that. And I have to say, when I first started, there was 300 events a year that goes on at the airport, and I thought, well, Musqueam needs to be involved in all of them, but it's not possible. So, but we are there for the most important ones, if there's government or media, or if it's specifically wanted by an airline partner. One other way that we involved our artists was we decided that we needed a design to represent the 30-year agreement. So we invited an established artist to partner with a youth or emerging artist and to come up with a design. And so if you've been to the airport, you will see the winning design is on banners on the boulevard. And I just want to say what great pride and gratitude that came from our elders and our community members to see Musqueam recognized on the boulevard, to let people know where they are and who we are. And there's lots more stuff coming, and you'll come to see that. Definitely blanketing the city. We'll have murals on the ground from our good friend Deborah Sparrow at the airport, as well as others. One thing that really surprised me was after the first 6 months of my job, our operations team came and asked if they could build a canoe with Musqueam so that they could learn more about each other and then go on a journey together. And lots of involvement with health and safety and putting artisans together with construction team, but in the end of the day, we did it. So I'm just going to show you one short clip. I'm nearly done my presentation. I think I'm a little over time, but it's a short video, so I'll just share that. During the planning for the project, we really needed someone to be on site every day to ensure that the site is safe, that the workers are looked after, that the day-to-day administration is under control. I suggested that we go with JV Horizons. Interestingly, the owners of JV Horizons are in the Point family from Dominant Point. Some of our master carvers here learned from him. And so to find that our master carver and the owners of the company are all connected, it was really meant to be.
My dad was Dominic Point. He was, I believe, a self-taught carver of canoes and taught a lot of the young people on the reserve. It's really amazing to see our ability on this project with her husband.
I can't think of a better Musqueam-based project to be on. My grandfather, if he was here today, I think he would just be over the moon about it and very, very happy. The fact that they have never carved a canoe like this for over 100 years, we're a Musqueam member of the company, and we're a part of it, it's amazing.
Having YVR staff here has been amazing, and they are really learning from Musqueam people. Starting with our first project, which was to strip the bark off the log. And just today, we have flipped it over, and staff came over to start digging it out. At the same time, we brought our cedar weaver back, and she showed the staff how to prep the cedar for making product with it. And they made cedar rope and cedar roses. Before they started, we told them that they have to give their first one away. And they left here saying, I'm going to give it to my grandma, my child, my boyfriend. You know, things like that, they really bring meaning to the project. That's how you carry forward the love that's really seen throughout. At the airport every day, and so much more to come. And really, the reason for the success of this relationship is that we're all talking, from the community to YVR, from the elders to the board members, from the airside operations to the management team. We're all on the same page. So that's really what it's about: sharing, talking, transparency, and day-to-day commitment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. And I'd just like to say, as an Indigenous person coming back to Canada, it's fabulous coming off the plane, seeing Musqueam art, knowing that we're home. So thank you.